We are families, we are caregivers, we are parents to children with disabilities and medical complexities. We are rarely familiar. We get together to learn, to relate, and to laugh a lot while we share each other's unique family experiences of raising the rarest of the rare. Our goal is to unite, inspire, educate, and empower people living a rarely familiar life. And we're so glad you're here. Hi, welcome to Rarely Familiar. This is Haley with my friends Jen and Tram, where we dig into the realities of raising the rarest of the rare. Today, we're going to get familiar with Jacob Esser, who's the founder of Dads of Down Syndrome, or DODs. It's an organization that creates a space for dads to talk about their parenting journey, their challenges, milestones, and how they're best supporting their kids. But before we meet Jacob, let's check in. Jen, Tram, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm kind of in this space of appreciation and awareness because it's the 1-year anniversary of Julian's medical crisis. So November 11th, 2024,
Wow.
all hell broke loose and Julian sustained a prolonged seizure that led to the emergency decompressive craniectomy and left side paralysis and 3 months in the hospital last winter. So it's such a marker. I've been thinking about this. And last night I started going through my phone and finding photos and I got sucked in to this wormhole. I was like, I couldn't get out. To look at those photos from last year and videos and then thinking this morning, he marches on the school bus. He's 6 feet tall. He's an inch taller than me. And it's like, whoa, he's just thriving. And it's like that saying, what a difference a year makes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of in that appreciative space today.
Did you give yourself some space to be like, okay, I need to maybe not schedule too heavily today?
Haley, I never do that.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm super excited about the podcast today. I love having things to look forward to. And I'm a busy bee, like our last guest said. Maybe kind of last night, I was having a glass of wine sitting by the fire looking at photos in this reflective space. Yeah.
It is amazing. And it is very nice to have it also fall in November. It was bad during the time because you were in hospital for Thanksgiving, but it does give you that time and space to really think about what this month has to offer. Thank goodness he's where he is to be able to walk again when he was lying on the floor when you first picked him up a year ago. So I'm thankful for you too.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
We went to Hope Kids. They have their Mall of America event, so they closed it down from 8 to 11 at Nickelodeon. And so thankfully, they provide these opportunities because buying a wristband to try all the rides, it adds up when she already has a limited mobility. She's a wheelchair user, but it was good. She used to love the sliding cars. It would whip her around. And when you look at all these rides, they're all for smaller children. So I'm like, can I fit my body into that little car with her body? Because now she's 4 feet, 5 inches. And so I put her in and we were super excited. And she was like, no. So she started whining and crying. And so I sort of had to tell the ride guy, like, sorry, don't start it. So we got out. But I think that's our last time doing the event.
I think the last time I brought him, he was like just under the right height to go on a roller coaster so bad. Like getting up to the platform. Oh my gosh, we got stuck and nobody was there to work the elevator to get him up. Oh, like somebody come help. And then we finally get in there and get sat down in the roller coaster and I've got my arm around him and they pull the thing over him. His legs are so skinny. I'm thinking like, oh no, after I made this big fiasco to get up here, did I make the right decision? I like wrapped my arms around him as tight as I possibly could. So afraid that he was going to fly out. He loved that. He wanted to go again. I'm like, I can't do it. And especially being a wheelchair user and not able to have those like big bodies.
Yes.
He seeks them out.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine? Yeah, not being able to run across the field. You get zoomed across in a roller coaster ride and you're like, I feel freedom and speed and exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and introduce our guest. We're here with Jacob Esser. And although he runs an organization that is for dads of Down syndrome, we talk about the rarest of the rare, right? Down syndrome is not a rare condition. It's one of the most common chromosomal conditions, right? But what is rare about Jacob is that he's getting dads together. And I think that is so cool. We did an episode a while back about dads, and it's so important. I just love that you are doing this. Jacob, welcome. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, your story, your organization.
Yeah, welcome. Great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of fun. Y'all are amazing parents, and I am in good company. So thanks for having me. So yeah, my name is Jacob Esser. I am the founder of a nonprofit based here in Minneapolis called the Dads of Down Syndrome, aka DODs. And what started with a little
Where'd your
idea
hat?
happy hour. Yep. Yeah, have to do it, right? It's my favorite hat. I can't take it off. It has turned into this whole thing where we're a nonprofit and we hold monthly events, and the group just continues to grow, 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 grow. And our mission is to empower dads and inspire advocacy. And I kind of break it up into two kind of departments: empowering dads, and I activate these types of ideas, and
Yeah.
then inspiring advocacy, we have all these types of ideas. And man, it's been fun. And it's led me to meeting and connecting with amazing people, these communities of rare diseases, rare conditions, rare diagnoses, whether
Yes.
it be 1 in 800, like we were told for Down syndrome, or 1
Mhm.
in a billion. There are some really amazing people doing the work that it is to be a parent of a kiddo with something, which we all
Yeah,
know.
and there's so many more similarities than there are differences. But if we all just band together, our voice is always stronger, right? So we love
couldn't agree more.
meeting people like
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the condition, it's the unique journey that we're on.
Right.
And it is so female centered in some ways that it seems like there's more moms groups. And so it's really refreshing. And I'm sure you felt that void. Can you tell us a little bit about your son?
It's like I feel like I'm forgetting something in my intro. There was something else I wanted to say. What was it? Oh yeah, just the inspiration behind everything I've
Right.
done, Dodds, and pretty much everything I do. Yeah, so my wife, Kara, who's amazing, and I welcomed our son, Levi, our first and only at the moment, and that was almost 3 years ago.
Wow.
We are a pretty lucky crew. He is also a lucky dude because both of us have divorced and remarried parents and grandparents. So he was born into a family of us two, but then immediately after that, 8 grandparents and then 8 great grandparents.
Wow.
So
Oh
a
my
lot of excitement 3 years ago
Oh my
when
God.
Levi entered the world.
Oh, he already had built-in village.
I mean, we're talking built-in city kind of thing going on.
And are they
And,
all here locally?
Everyone is local,
Oh my goodness, that's
loving,
amazing. I love it.
involved, and
Yeah.
awesome.
And
It is.
great
That's rare.
grandparents.
That is
Yeah.
rare.
Maybe that's the rarest thing about this story today.
That is rare. Oh my gosh. You must be pretty young because I don't even have a grandparent alive anymore, let alone, well,
Yeah.
he's a 3-year-old. So he has the
Well, we
grandparents.
were
That's awesome.
30 when we welcomed Levi, which
Okay.
allows for a 1 in roughly 800 chance of a kiddo to have Down syndrome. And so sure enough, Levi was born at birth diagnosis. We had a little bit of a chance that he had an extra chromosome during the pregnancy, but time would be the ultimate tell. And sure enough, we learned that he had Down syndrome, and a 16-day stay in the NICU allowed for him to get his lungs up to snuff, and we
Mhm.
passed the car seat test and all those other tests that I'm sure you maybe have memories of.
Mhm.
If that's part of your story, the amazing nurses at the NICU and the doctors were just so great. We actually bring them Christmas Eve dinner every Christmas now.
Oh
So
my
Levi
goodness.
is returned back to the NICU.
My goodness. How fun.
Yeah, we just love it there. And that's
We
great
lived
today.
there for too long. It was like too triggering to go back. I think I needed space.
Yeah, okay, that checks out. I can
Yeah,
understand that
every-
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a part of you, my therapist always says, if you introduce an idea, it could be far-fetched, but just introduce it, that if that happens, your brain doesn't go into this shock space of, I can attach to that this was a possibility. Do you guys feel like you kind of had a sense, well, this could be, something that happens? Or were you blindsided by it?
Great question. And Yeah, we reflect on that quite a bit. We both agree and can confirm that we were really hopeful that Levi did not have Down syndrome.
Mhm.
We were like, the tests show that it's more unlikely. Oh,
Did you do the test? Did you do the test where they do
yeah.
3 and then they tell you the gender?
Yeah, we got that test. We did not do the amniocentesis
Mhm.
test, which is
Yeah.
like 99%. We did
Yeah.
the one that left us with a 30 to 40%, and then
Mhm.
down based on specific markers that they could find through an additional ultrasound or 20 over the course of the pregnancy. And he didn't show a single marker, and he was huge, 100 percentile the whole time and not a single marker. So we were kind of thinking, oh, okay, nothing to worry about there. And man, we talk about this with the DODs. You process, you try to learn, you reach out for answers, you get confused, you get scared. We both went through that. And I guess we still continue to go through stuff like that.
Mhm.
But sure enough, he does have Down syndrome. And that has been one of the most incredible gifts to this big city of Levi's support network, from grandparents to great grandparents to neighbors to friends to siblings, cousins. It's been a big part of our story.
It's one thing to say that, and I think it's another thing to believe it. And I think I said it before I really believed it, because these amazing people come into your life and you are still kind of grieving the loss of what you thought your life might be like, or your expectations for this child. And I think saying that it's a gift to truly come to accept the life that was gifted to this child and see the positive in the cards you were dealt. I think it's a remarkable transformation for anyone to get to that point. But I'm glad to hear you say that.
Thank you.
So, Jacob, you mentioned a little bit in your intro that you got together with 4 guys. So, who are these guys, first of all? Are they friends? Are they parents of Levi's preschool kiddos? What happened? You went to a bar, you had a beer, you said, this is fun, let's do it again. Or can you kind of tell us how this whole dad's organization got started?
Yeah, happy to. When I'm not doing my day job, I have been a bartender once a week for 10 years. And it's my favorite day of the week sometimes. I work at a restaurant called The Hilltop in Edina. It is a local watering hole, one of one, and I know just about every single person that walks through the door. And everyone knows Levi now. I'll tell you that. We can talk more about how Levi actually bartends with me on Sunday mornings now. But
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
amazing. But so when Levi was born, we were thrown into the community and we met amazing people. I want to make sure that everyone that listens to this hears what an incredible amount of resources we have through leaders of awesome nonprofits like Jack's Basket, Down Syndrome Association of Minnesota, Gigi's Playhouse. These leaders were instant friends of ours, and I just really connected with all of them. But then I asked, is there a dads group, or where are the dads? Is there a group text that I can get on or something?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they all said the same thing. We've tried and it hasn't worked out. And I said, well, what if I gave it a go? And sure enough, at the Hilltop, there's 3 or 4 dads that have a kiddo with Down syndrome of a
Wow.
variety of different ages. So sure enough, I set up a happy hour there with those dads who had never really met each other, and a few other dads that I had picked up along the way that had a kid with Down syndrome. And a group of 5 or 6 of us sat there at a big circular table, and I was nervous. I was like, these dads don't know each other. Levi's not even a year old yet. Why am I the one facilitating this? This makes no sense. Does this even have any value to these guys? What are we going to talk about? So I had small group questions, right? And I showed up ready to sort of facilitate, and these men didn't stop talking for 3 hours.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And they just talked about everything and anything. And I find out that 2 of them have known each other for 20 plus years. Their kids are almost 30 years old. They've played golf together, done business together, sat at the Hilltop Bar together. But for the first time at that first ever DODs event, they look each other in the eye and they say, hey, did you know Alex had Down syndrome when he was born? And the other dad goes, no, I didn't. Did you know that Jake had Down syndrome? And they had never actually had that chat. And then it went one step further, like, how did that go for your wife? Or how was that for Alex's
family.
brother and sister? It just became this organic, easy, flowing conversation. I didn't say a word for 3 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And
So you didn't have to facilitate too much. It just kind of took off. You got them together and then it went from there. And then did
yes,
you say, let's do this again? Or
Give
did
a
they
dad
say,
a
let's do this
beer and
again?
it all.
literally, exactly. I said at the end of that event, I go, would you guys want to do this again? Maybe in the summertime, grill out, backyard or something?
Yep.
And he said, how about next month? And we've had an event every single month since that, which was almost 2 years ago in March. Yeah. Group of 5 dads has now grown into over 60.
Wow.
Oh my
Good
goodness.
for you.
Yeah, here in the Twin Cities.
You don't have it at the same watering hole, though, right? Correct? You like move around and do different things, or do you kind of try to congregate there?
We grew out of the hilltop, and
Okay.
now we take over party rooms at Devani's. And I sort out our events where once a quarter we do roundtable happy hours, like the original one I was describing, just open forum kind of thing. Once a quarter, I sort out a guest speaker. Like next week, we're welcoming the special ed director from Fergus Falls, who retired with 35 years of service in special ed, and he's just going to talk to us about special ed. We've had people from county services talk to us, authors, inspirational speakers. I organize one guest speaker per quarter, and then we do an event. And these events can be anything. They've gotten to be pretty creative. This is more like the family-friendly part of the organization, whereas the other two are meant for just the dads. So these dads
Okay.
show up as themselves. They don't have their kiddos with them.
Nice.
They sometimes have to leave work early. Some dads drive from Rochester, and it's all just to be in a room with dads going through the same thing.
Wow. How do people find your events? I mean, I know you have a website, but what's the best way that you advertise your events, I guess, or how you do your meetups?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Truth is, it has all been organic over the last 2 years.
Okay.
I typically hear from a new DOD every week, if not every other week. Whereas someone gets my phone number, and all of our communication is done through text. I have a goal to turn that into an email.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
next year, because we're getting so big and it takes a while to send all these text messages each month.
Yeah.
Which is a good problem to have. But it has been a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend that I'm sure, when you tell somebody what your kiddo has, they're like, oh, I know my neighbor had that cousin like that. This web of connectedness has led us to just grow and grow. And once we became a nonprofit, I was able to raise some funds, which has allowed me to invest in marketing. So I also have a pretty strong marketing move going on that has allowed us to reach beyond Minnesota, which is what's really fun to think about, is where DODs might grow into in coming years. But our Instagram and TikTok, we've had some really fun moments there, and we receive comments from dads all over the world.
Yeah.
All over the world. We got a selfie of a dad holding his daughter with Down syndrome from Tobago.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
It's just, well, it's so catchy too. Just like the dads, the playoff of dads, and it's just perfect. So I've
I
seen a lot of
appreciate
your videos and it's very fun. But yeah, I mean, you must have a lot of energy because it's a lot to put on events. Once a year. Here it is once a month. So
It is, and our events continue to grow. Our last big community event happened to be a fashion show where I asked the dads, who wants to really try something crazy? And sure enough, 14 of them raised their hand, and they all were able to join me in throwing a fashion show, which I have never done before. Don't know, I have no business throwing a fashion show. And
awesome.
but our mission to empower dads, I was like, well, what better way to empower dads than to make them supermodels, and have every room clap for them and cheer for them as they walk around on a blue carpet with their kiddos. So
Raise the Roof, it was called. I saw the photos and videos. It looked awesome. Are you going to try to make this into an annual fundraiser event?
yeah, it's coming back by popular demand already. It's
that's
definitely
I bet.
happen again next fall. And there's talks about a summer event as well of some kind that we're trying to work on right now too. But we continue to just push the bread and butter, which are these monthly events, which usually have somewhere between 20 and 30 dads connecting.
And I think what's so important is that, like, getting out of the Zoom box, everybody getting out from behind their computers and really connecting in person. I think we need it so much. There's just a different energy that you have when you're with people. in person. So having those events, I think, is really, really key to the success of something like this.
And I appreciate that because we're all strangers, right? And then we realize we're not because we
Yeah.
have this thing that connects us. Whether it be Down syndrome or a really rare condition, I know we just met, but I feel connected to y'all. I feel
Right.
like I understand a little bit about some of the things you've thought, felt, and heard and seen.
Well, we're sending all the dads or father figures in our lives over to your group, and where they're just going to be honorary members.
Would love
Yeah.
that.
The extension of
would-
DODs.
Dods plus.
Plus.
Dods
That's incredible. I
Yeah,
love
you should
Dots
do that
Plus.
DODs plus, because like my husband, we don't
Rare
live very far from you.
dads.
Yeah.
So he would easily come to the hilltop. He's like, beer, I'm there. And it is true with other organizations that I've been in, same. So my daughter is deafblind. And so we identify most with that community because her diagnosis is super rare. And thankfully, some of the dads had reached out that are a little bit older. And without that, I think Sean didn't have anybody else in our world because it is very isolating. I didn't even know anyone in our community with a disability. I'm not from here. And I think that's how you meet other people really quickly, is through school districts or sports. But we had asked the same question, like, do you ever do dads events? They're like, we tried. They don't show up, or it's not consistent. Also, the funding's not there. So someone has to really drive it, sort of like what you're doing. So it's awesome that you're driving it, because I will say, I think it has helped our relationship. I'm not the only one seeking information. He can seek information. Or I think there's lots of articles about how men don't really open up, but the men that have sustaining relationships are much healthier just as a holistic person. And I think we all know that, like, COVID opened our eyes. Like, isolation was real, right? And that was the first time we weren't able to go out and see people and be around people. And I think that's what I always say to people whenever they ask, like, how is it? And I'm like, think of when you were in COVID and you were shut down. That is the life of many people with disabilities and families with kids with disabilities. So I'm very excited that you have it. But yeah, DODs plus.
There you go.
I love Dots Plus.
I love it. So the last 2 years, you've been doing these events and meetups and things. Is there one moment for you that stands out that was just, I don't know, eye-opening or moving?
Yeah, there's been so many, but one event and one moment come to mind for sure. It was our first ever ice cream social. And we were over at a public park, and I got root beer and ice cream and popsicles. And this was the first time the dads were invited to bring their kiddos. And that was a new thing. It was 2 summers ago. And about 14 dads show up with their kiddos. And the thing about DODs is that it's dads of all ages and all stages, right? So we have newborns being held by their DODs. We have some people running around. We have a 35-year-old in the tire swing having the time of his life. We have this park party happening, right?
Mhm.
And we're standing in a circle, and 2 people with a stroller slowly are walking towards the group. And we're a big enough group where we've sort of taken over this park, and they seem to be walking a little bit slower the closer they get. And then sure enough, they pass us. But then I see them turn around, and they have one kid in the stroller and one kid kind of following behind them. And the parents seem to be walking right towards me all of a sudden. And I look at them and I go, "Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you." And they ask, "What's up with this group here? What do you guys,
The Pokemon? What's
kind
up?
of party is this?" And I go, "Well, hey, yeah, we're a brand new group. We're the dads of Down syndrome. Everyone here is a dad, and all of their kiddos are here celebrating and hanging out at the park." And I see the mom start to tear up, and I see the dad starts to get a little shaky, and he reaches back out and shakes my hand and says, "I'm really glad to meet you. We just found out that our baby on the way has Down syndrome."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I still get chills when I think
Yep.
about this, because it was one of those first mission moments where I was like, whoa, we're here for a reason. Y'all went on a walk for a reason. And I was kind of taken over, and I go, "Hey, everybody circle up." And it was like a call, like all these dads dropped what they were doing and
Like
came
bat
right-
signal. Yeah.
it was like a bat
Oh my
signal type
gosh.
type thing. And
Old space for this
sudden,
guy.
his dad had just gotten this news, and by the way, they have 4 other kids, so this was kid number 5.
Yeah.
Wrestling with this update about their kiddo on the way. They're now in a circle of strangers, but suddenly the most important stranger group they ever could find. The love that the DODs at the ice cream social were able to pour into that family in that matter of luck moment was just incredible. I mean, we
Wow.
basically went around the circle and every dad had some type of tip, advice, affirming word.
Yeah.
And they just stood there speechless.
And that's the one thing that you need in that moment is to know that you're not alone. And you just, I'm going to try not to cry, but you literally surrounded him and showed him that he's not alone. And you will have those moments happen to you over and over and over. And there's nothing that can explain it. And the universe just bringing people together. It is
And
remarkable.
also like, it is going to be okay.
Mhm.
It is going to be okay. This path is going to be okay.
Yeah.
The first fear that dads have, it seems like, is my kid won't be able to do anything. And here, this new DOD is standing and watching kids run up and down the swing and go on the swings and
Yeah.
laugh and eat popsicles and get covered in root beer floats. It allowed for this realization that, yeah, you know what? It is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And there will be joy in your future. Promise.
Well, and I think the nice thing even for you, because Levi, you said it's only 3, right? You don't know what you don't know. I remember the moment when I had the first person reach out and she was like, oh, when she goes to school, and I go, she gets to go to school? Because you don't think about it. And I think that's the nice part of you're already building your community to help. Because I think I say this all the time. I'm thankful I've met moms that have kids that are older that I can lean on them. So I think that's the nice part is he now knows he has somebody to lean on for any moment, happy or sad or help. One thing I noticed on your website, and you mentioned it too, was advocacy is really important. What else are you working on in terms of helping with the advocacy with the DODs?
Love that. Thanks for asking. Inspire Advocacy. What we're doing right now is partnering with other organizations that are doing amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is for DODs to be this moving, shaking group of 60 to 100 dads that can just show up and be helpers, greeters, supporters, volunteers, whatever it might be.
Testifiers at the Capitol. Get them together.
Yeah. You need 20 DODs for a backyard cookout to raise money for a rare condition. We're there. We'll bring everything. You just tell us the address, kind of thing. So when it comes to inspiring advocacy, my ultimate goal is to grow big enough where we can raise significant dollars to actually invest in clinical or medical research around Down syndrome. And to what you said, Tram, you don't know what you don't know. I don't know a lot about that. I don't know a lot about where those dollars should or could or would go.
Jacob, do you know where I work and what I do?
I do, absolutely. And that's another reason that the DODs community continues to just serve me to meeting amazing new people.
Yeah.
You know, and if there was ever a moment where it's like, hey, Jacob, we're doing research and to include Down syndrome into the test group, I need an additional $500,000. I want to be able to say yes to something like that. Like that's what we do. We inspire advocacy through raising funds so that we can further the livelihood and the joy that is brought into this universe through this thing called Down syndrome.
Yes. I think what is starting to finally happen is pull those people with lived experience into the process and make the magic happen. And it's finally sticking. It's finally starting to come to fruition. It's many, many years in the making, but it's happening.
So Jacob, is this like your main work right now? Is this what you're
No.
doing with the exception of the one morning bartending? Is this like your main job or do you have another gig too?
No, I've got the full-time gig.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, my wife tells me that I'm crazy a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, but as you do your passion projects, people start getting on board. I'm sure you have support and it's a nonprofit, so you probably have a board. And
I do.
okay, that's great.
Yeah, the
Well,
board is
hopefully
incredible.
maybe it will turn into a full-time position. And then,
Yeah, that's the beauty of DODs, and my wife and I say this a lot. We continue to want to let it breathe. We'll figure out what this idea really could and can be. Obviously, the Empowering Dads through monthly events has traction.
Yeah.
And I do have a step-by-step kind of plan on how to grow that nationally and see how that grows. We're going to continue to experiment with different types of fundraisers and large scale community, potentially open to the public type events. What does that mean? How does that help feed our mission? And similar to what we were just talking about with inspiring advocacy, like we still have to find our footing in why we're raising the funds that we are.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're letting it breathe. And man, it absolutely is a passion project. And I truthfully feel so lucky to do it. So lucky to do it. It's been an absolute gift to be in this position.
Well, Haley used to say that our kids chose well, right? Like they chose us. And then we're trying to help others because we know the journey is hard, but there are some amazing moments and we want to share these moments with everybody to build that community. One question that I did want to ask was, what do you wish more people knew about being a dad with a child with Down syndrome?
Yeah. One more thing that you would know, man, that's a tough question. I would respond by saying there's other dads out there,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many reminders that I'm not the first one going through the thing that I'm going through.
Yeah.
It's almost funny at these events where there's 20 dads all sitting in a circle around a table eating pizza. We'll talk about the day that our kiddo was born and be like, then my kid had to go to the NICU, and all 20 dads at the same time. Yep. And then I had to have this step. Yep. Yep. And then I found out that we were actually okay on the heart condition. And then half the room goes, oh, nice. And the other half group goes, me too. There have been people that have come before you, and there is wisdom in those voices and those perspectives. My favorite saying that I've heard at a DODs event comes from the Gandalf of the DODs. He's the oldest DOD.
The oldest son.
His name is Peter, and he is basically my right-hand man because he is so convinced that if he would have had something like DODs 30 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe some things would have gone differently. His amazing daughter is still thriving today, but he really appreciates the group and the initiative. And he said that he drives all the way from Cottage Grove once a month as a retired guy to sit in the room with the luckiest men in the world.
Oh. See, our kids chose well.
And that just hits,
Yeah,
right?
it
Because
does.
you're excited to be a dad, you're excited about the journey and the unknown. But when someone says, hey, by the way, this group right here, luckiest men in the whole wide world, it just hits a different part of us. And yeah, I would tell the dad new to this that I'd say welcome.
So tell us what's next for DODs. What's on the horizon? You've talked about it a little bit, but if you had to look ahead to 2026.
Sure. Yeah, we're going to continue to blow up our events. Our fashion show was sort of the first one that really went off well without a hitch. We're going to get a little bit bigger in summer, I think. We're flirting with a few different ideas, potentially some food trucks, some live music, some very family friendly, open to the public type stuff that's going to allow us to introduce our mission and all these amazing dads to a bigger group of humans, to continue expanding our community. I have a goal to find 50 new dads this summer between 2026 and when we talk again this time next year, right? So we're going to continue investing in marketing and communications. We're going to kind of
Go rural. There needs to be Duluth dads because the further out you get, the more alone people feel. So make sure you're hitting some of those other areas too.
Yeah,
Important.
100%. The first thing on my to-do list for Q1 26 is to develop what I'm calling a chapter playbook, which is going to be everything I did over the course of the last 2 years, kind of barreled into a little bit of a textbook. And it's going to be a living, breathing document and a physical copy that I can send to the dad that has reached out to me from Duluth via Instagram or TikTok and said, hey, I want to do this. And I go, perfect. Bam, here's a chapter
you
playbook.
go.
Let's start talking once a month and see how it goes for you.
Mhm.
That's how I'm picturing our growth in the next year and coming years.
And lastly, if there is a dad, and regardless of the diagnosis or what condition their child might have, what advice would you have for that person right now?
I would say you are built for this.
Yeah.
This isn't an accident. You've got this. And now it's your job to find the resources and support that you need.
And that's what you're there for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's why
Make
we
the
wanted to
connection.
have you here today was
Yeah.
because they can reach out to other moms probably a little easier. There's many more mom groups, but we definitely wanted to hear from a perspective of a dad. So we are super, super excited to have you here to really advocate your organization so that we can share all the love you have to give and all the education you have to give to these parents, because it is a journey that is hard in the beginning. I think you find your path and then you find your friends and you find your community. And so thank you for being here and sharing your story and starting DODs, because we're super excited for you and your organization.
Thank you for doing this for all the dads and all the Levi's out there. All the kiddos who get to have fathers who are supported is a gift. So keep it up. We'll look forward to hearing more about all your events and spread the word as well for you. So thank you.
You're so nice. The only thing I would say is there wouldn't be a DODs if it wasn't for the amazing moms in the community.
Ooh.
And I just want to make sure that y'all hear loud and clear. Thank you for doing what you do and your work in advocacy and your work in empowering moms and people that are going through things that make them feel like they are alone or trying something new for the first time. Thank you for doing what you do, and for being willing to include me in your podcast is very cool. And I'm just super grateful for the opportunity, and I'm excited to continue watching y'all grow as well.
If you liked today's topic or have comments, questions, or thoughts on what else you would like us to cover, please visit rarelyfamiliar.com or connect with us on all the social channels. Resources will be listed in our show notes, and we'll be back next time with another discussion around living life successfully with rare medical complexities. Thanks for joining us on the journey.